next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio Country Edition, powered by our good friends over at Monster. The one, the only, Tony Evans Jr. in the building, my guy. Nice to finally meet you. I didn't get to catch you when we were in New York.
Yeah.
I was actually like literally physically stuck in LA because of these flights. But you did an incredible job with your two performances. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
First of all, thank you for being one of the first artists to do, On the Radar Country. You were part of the first batch, like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And we're honored to have you be a part of the kickoff of this, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure for me to be here too. Y'all are a big part of the culture. So,
is it like as a country artist? Because I haven't gotten to ask this question besides maybe like the Kentucky Gentleman. Is it what is kind of like the feeling of being a part of, I guess, this opening of a country aspect of like On the Radar, which is primarily known for hip hop? Like, how does that feel to you? Because I'm interested. I think when I've been down here in Nashville, like the biggest thing that I've been wondering is like, what is the perspective of the country artists coming onto this platform and kind of, breaking new ground in this platform, but also breaking ground, I guess, in the country space now too, since we're doing this.
For me, it's real cool for me because, like I said before we started, I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I came up, I love country music, but I also came up in like hip hop, R&B culture. You feel what I'm saying? So this is just like, it's comfortable for me. Like I like it. I love to see it. Those worlds merging.
Yeah, and I feel like we've been seeing these worlds like merge a lot more now more than ever, which I think is why like we decided to make this series now, because it's like the perfect time, perfect place, and also it's just like I think a great space to be in now too. You yourself, so you're from Atlanta originally, right?
Yeah.
What part of Atlanta?
Well, I was born in Decatur, and I grew up on the south side, Henry County and Clayton County.
Word. Now, you've been in Nashville for some time now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How many years?
I've been coming here for like 8 years,
okay,
and I've lived here for around a little over 3 years.
How old were you when you moved here?
Well, when I moved here, it was only like 3 years ago, so I was like 23.
Okay.
But I've been making that drive from Atlanta to Nashville since I was like 18.
Was the drive always like music business stuff? Or
oh yeah, for sure.
Did you just come here because the drive from here to Atlanta is like what, like 4
hours?
4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what was kind of like the first trip out here like for you?
I think I was meeting with like publishing companies or something like that. I just came out here for business, came out here to make music. And, because Nashville has that infrastructure for country music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the place to be, especially before the world was really interested in it like it is now, So it's like, just making that drive.
Are there like, because, obviously we know you from Atlanta, but is there a deeper like country scene in Atlanta of artists that we might not be aware of? No, there's not too many, is there?
Nah, you can find some rappers.
Of course, yeah. But how is it then like coming up out of Atlanta as like a country artist? Because that's kind of like breaking like, I guess, the norm of what most people would expect from an Atlanta native coming up in the music industry. Because we have so many incredible Atlanta artists, of course, in the rap scene and R&B scene, but like it's not very often. And like I said, there's probably some country artists that you and I don't know about that are brand new coming out of Atlanta. But regardless, is that we don't really meet too many country artists out of Atlanta. So growing up, like, what is it like for you doing country music in Atlanta and kind of being that like that one artist that's very different from, I guess, what the cultural norm is out there?
Well, I guess for me, especially like growing up, it was a lot different. Most people didn't even know I liked country music growing up, because it was like, we're going to parties and we're doing all this stuff, but back home I'm listening to this. And it wasn't cool. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't really a conversation piece that I had a whole lot. But I don't know. I'm so used to being different in that way that I don't even really process it. It's just like I'm just doing my thing.
Right. Was it something that you were afraid to share when you were younger? Like when you go into these parties?
Probably, yeah. Probably a little bit. There's a little bit of like maybe like fear of rejection almost, because like Atlanta is hip hop.
Right.
Atlanta is T.I. and Young Thug and Gucci. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's what the culture is out there, and it was growing up. So it was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna just keep this to myself up until I grew up and I gained the confidence to do what the hell I wanted to do. So
were the people? Did you ever like open up to those people you were hanging out with? Like,
some
that I actually like this?
Yeah, some. My brothers back home, you know, the ones that I was real close with, they knew, you know, and I feel like at first they kind of like, because they didn't listen to it.
Right.
You know, so at first it was like, oh yeah, he does country. But now it's like, oh, he really
does this, yeah.
You know, and I think as it goes on, it's going to make more sense for people, you know, because it's just a skin color thing.
Yeah,
you know, once people start getting over the skin color thing, it's like, okay, this is just another genre of music.
Right.
You know, then it'll be like, okay.
They're more accepting of it now, too.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, the world's a lot different now.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Because it was funny because, like, obviously John, who is really helped set up and really spearheaded this whole thing with On the Radar and country music, John is, you know, a black man from Brooklyn, right? And like the whole time I've known John got the smile on his face. Whole time I knew John, up until maybe a year ago, I didn't even know John liked country music for real. Until one day he's like, I think he was driving and he was telling us about this country playlist that he had. And I said, you like country music? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, wow, I never knew this, you know?
Yeah.
But to your point, I think it definitely, like, you know, with everything that's happening with Beyonce right now and kind of like this, I wouldn't say emergence, but this now new awareness for black country artists, I think it is definitely becoming more of a healthy space for
sure.
black country artists to be more open and be more accepted by the general public. Because I think I had this conversation with Raina the other day. I said it just takes like that one moment for a community to start rallying behind a genre or an artist or multiple artists. And I think that's kind of like where it is for you guys right now too.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel the support. So
I was gonna say, like, at being a black country artist in the space, what has been like for you? Do you think has been the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome? Has it been like he's doing country music like you were talking about when you were younger with your friends? Has it been something else? Like, what do you feel like, you know, obviously you're doing very well for yourself right now, but to get to this point, what has been the biggest hurdle that you felt like as an artist you had to overcome in the space?
That's a tough question because it's hard. You know, you got to overcome everything. Yeah. You know, and unless you're an artist that just has somebody bankrolling you and, you know, daddy's money or something like that, you know, and even with that doesn't buy you a career. You get what I'm saying? Like figuring out who you are. I think that was the hardest part for me, is figuring out who I really was. You know, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I sing country music, but to figure out why I love country music, you know, outside of the surface level, and figure out how I want to express my art to people, figure out why they receive me the way that they do, like putting all of that together and then crafting art to support that. Yeah. It's tough.
When did you figure it out? Like, when was kind of like the moment for you? Or are you still figuring it out?
I've definitely figured it out, but it's an ongoing evolution. You know, artists aren't stagnant. Well, the great ones aren't, at least. They're not stagnant. So for me, I feel like the first time I figured it out might have been like 5 years ago or something like that. I really started getting in touch with myself and who I wanted to be as an artist. Yeah. And now it's just an ongoing thing. Like, I'm like, okay, I can do this like this. Right.
Yeah. And you're noticing the fans and like the acceptance and like what they want to hear from you as well too.
For sure. Yeah. And just making sure, you can also get caught in the trap of trying to satisfy them, doing whatever you can to satisfy them at the detriment to your, can't think of the word right now, to your
overthinking, or
not, like, I guess I say it like this, your identity as an artist. Like, for me, I will never sacrifice my identity for anything. My brand and as a man, who I am as a man, and who I've decided I want to be, I will not change that for the sake of some company that wants to endorse me, or the fans pressuring me to be something else. Like, that's integrity. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Artist integrity. I feel like that's what people really want to see. They want to see that authenticity and that integrity. Right. And that's hard to find. It's hard to find the confidence to really stand behind something like that.
Right. That's a fact. You know, I know obviously you're a junior, right? Your father was in music as well too. I believe signed at one point as well to Motown. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
It was Capitol.
Capitol.
Yeah.
But Motown, I think, under Capitol. Regardless,
something
like that. Yeah. But he was signed. A lot of what you just mentioned, do you feel like you learned that from him, or was that kind of like, or like what did you kind of take from, or what did what did you kind of take from your father's experience in the music industry too that kind of helped you move and navigate as yourself in the industry?
Everything. Honestly, like, I was a studio kid growing up, like sleeping on couches when I was on the studio couches when I was a toddler. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really came up in the industry. My big sister pursued a music career when she was a kid. So I grew up seeing that. So it's really all I know, you know. And I guess the main thing that my pops taught me, I mean, he taught me everything, but I'll say he definitely helped me a lot with my patience. I think, you know, I won't even say that though, my work ethic.
The work ethic.
You know, yeah, like he taught me that, how to actually work for something. You know, and as an artist, especially an independent artist, ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You know, you have to do it yourself, and my pops taught me how to do that. So.
Being an independent artist right now, is it like, are you looking for that, like, to get signed, or are you comfortable where you are?
Nah, I'm not looking to get signed, man. I am. It has to be the right opportunity.
Of course.
You know, just like anything else. It's not my goal to get signed. If a label comes to me and says, hey, we have the perfect deal for you, and my team feels that and we're feeling that, then yeah, sure. But it's not really my goal. I just want to make music for my fans and get them listening to it. That's it. Right.
You know, I think it's fire. We were talking about like backing and showing up support, and I think it's fire because Money Long had recently shown you some love on the Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, I think we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna definitely see like some of you guys on the Breakfast Club, which I'm very excited to see down the line.
Yeah.
But for you, like, you know, and I was also watching your interview on the Tamron Hall show, which was also great, and she called you the future of country music as well. To having those moments like that on those kind of like national platforms, obviously two different. You know, one being like the biggest black urban syndicated radio show, hip hop in a way too. Even though they do other stuff in the country, and then the Tamron Hall show, which is of course was your TV debut. What do those two experiences, or the two cosigns and people speaking of you highly in that way on these major platforms, like how did those moments feel for you, and like what was kind of going through your head when these things were happening as well?
It's really weird, honestly, like. Because when you start out as an artist, especially nowadays, when it's like, okay, we're posting videos on social media and we're just trying to get attention, you get so used to not getting anything back. You get so used to not getting the gratification back that, like, for me personally, I'm kind of numb to it, and it's probably not a good thing. But it helped me not be let down all the time by stuff, you know. And like I said, I walked into my first major label when I was like 10 or 12 and got told I wasn't good enough. So I went through all of that, and it kind of made me numb to the news and numb to anything outside of like here. Yeah. But then when you experience moments like that, it's like, I want to feel this, you know, like I want to soak this up just a little bit. I want to feel the gratification, like I might actually be doing something. I might let myself feel this little win, you know. So those were some of the first moments where that happened for me, I'd say.
Yeah. Have you spoken to, like, are you and Money close at all? Or?
We're not close. We've talked.
Okay.
But I haven't met her in person. It's just like on socials.
It's just like a fan of a fan. You know.
Yeah. We're fans of each other's art and all of that, man. And especially me, I'm definitely a big fan of her and her work ethic and her track record, man. She's a young legend to me. So like super dope just to see her talk about me like that on the platform.
Right. You know, you talked about like kind of becoming numb to like a lot of these things, right? You talked about you getting rejected when you were like, what, 10, 11 years old from a label, which is kind of crazy if them speaking to a 10, 11-year-old like that.
Yeah.
But how do you internally become like numb to all this? Is it just because you've dealt with so many things leading up until this point that like you're able to tune out the negativity, or?
Yeah. You start to realize it doesn't matter. Like the negativity doesn't matter. Especially now with like the attention spans of people these days, it's like, okay, we see gossip about this artist one day and then we forget about it the next week. So it's like everybody's gonna have an opinion. I don't care if you're the greatest artist ever, you've done no wrong, you're a good Christian, all of that. Like somebody's gonna have something bad to say about you.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be true or not. And I feel like, especially for artists these days, it's really hard to overcome that. That stops a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just kind of like, I find a lot of stuff funny. You know, like I laugh at a lot
Like
of.
what? Like what was like the last thing that somebody may have said about you that you thought was funny?
Oh
Or
man,
that you read online.
I think I saw a comment on. I think it was on the radar.
Oh, I know exactly what comment.
Yeah.
Look, he's smiling because we both know.
Did y'all see that?
Yes, we did.
What did he say? It
click
was
on Bro's music.
I saw his page or something like that. I didn't look into it much, but I just saw the comment like he said I was trash or something.
Yeah,
like,
I know exactly what you're talking. No,
Yeah.
I mean if he sees this, I don't care. Bro. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you guys ignore real talent or something like that, and I said, you hear what this man is singing? And then I clicked on his page and I'm like, bro, I don't like being mean though. I don't, but like, you need some work.
But see, even for me though, I feel like a lot of people would have seen something like that and like commented back like, bro, like you're trash. You don't have no followers. Da da da. But it's like, I feel like that would come from a place of insecurity with me. Like I've worked my ass off
to be here right now
for the past my whole life for this. I know I'm talented. I've worked to become talented. You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't really penetrate my armor. Right. You know. It was funny though.
I ain't gonna lie. Was it guys? It was Dev, right? Dev was ready to rod for him. Dev and Maya. Oh, Rob, Rob was about to go. Rob was about to tweak on boy for you. We have to all stop ourselves because we was all ready to rob for you, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, it's definitely entertaining. The back and forth is entertaining, but you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the last project you put out was Starless, right?
Yeah.
EP dropped last year. New single out now, yours.
Yes, sir.
Please go stream that. Also, go check out the On the Radar performance for it. Where are you at, like, right now musically? Because we haven't got, like, a full, I guess, album from you. We've gotten these EPs and whatnot. What's kind of, like, the plan for Tony Evans Jr. in 2024? Like, where are you kind of at? Doing another EP project? Like, what are we gearing up for right now?
I have a project ready. I'm not going to say the form that it's going to come out in. I don't know if it'll be another EP or an album, or I just might release more singles. Yeah. But I have a body of work, and I'm in love with it. You know, like, I've been making some good country music lately, and I just can't wait for everybody to hear it, man. How
do you feel like it's an evolution past Starless? Like, what do you think is like, because like without saying too much, like, what is kind of different from like what you created with that EP, and then what this next body of work is, whether it be an EP or an album? Like, how does it differ from that?
I've just been sharpening my sword. You know, I've been sharpening my sword and like that identity that we talked about earlier. It's just getting more and more focused. Like with my pen and in the studio, I feel like I'm making the decisions sonically to become the artist that I want to be in 15 years. You know, and it's stuff that I love. Like, it's stuff that I love hearing. You know, like I love George Strait. You know, and I'm making songs. I'm like, I think George Strait would like this. You know, it's kind of that.
Like music that you think your idols will listen to.
You know, yeah. So just stuff that I'm really proud of. Like, it's an evolution of me, and I think you'll really get to understand me more as an artist, and even maybe a little bit as a person, like listening to this new music that's going to come out.
That's fire. So hopefully soon we'll get that.
Yeah, definitely.
What else you got planned for this year? Tour, collaborations?
Just more shows, man.
More shows. Okay.
More shows. Getting on the road, festivals, and all type of stuff like that. You know, I'll let everybody know when I have the dates and everything. Right. But just like I said earlier, just getting out and seeing the fans, you know, and just touching everybody and, you know, playing, singing.
Word. Well, we'll be excited to hopefully see you in New York soon, man.
For sure. I love New York. I got to come back up there.
Word, man. Sure. Well, look, it's been a pleasure having you. By the time people see this, go check out the 2 performances Tony has with us out now. Go check out yours out now. Stream that and stream the Starless EP. Before we get out of here, bro, let the people know they can follow you out there. You want to let the fans know now's the time to do it. This camera right here.
Hey, man, y'all can follow me on Instagram at Tony Evans Jr. And like he said, yours is out now. New music coming soon, so y'all stay tuned with me.
There you go. Well, look, make sure you check out everything he has out now. Go run up those 2 On the Radar performances. Go run up the new single, the EP. Go show him some love. Go show him some support. Love is free. Support is free. But y'all already knew that. Till next time, Tony Evans Jr. On the Radar. We out. Wow, my God.